Number, we're starting with consecutive integers today. So let's review from earlier in the year. What do we do when it says consecutive integers? Okay, so if it says there's two consecutive integers, it would be x and x plus 1. If it says there's three of them, it would be x, x plus 1, and x plus 2. What if it says there's four of them? X, x plus 1, x plus 2, and x plus 3. So this list could go on forever depending on what you needed, okay? So you don't always use the whole list. All right, if it says even, you still always start with x, but instead of x plus 1, it's going to be what? And then x plus 4, and it could even go to, okay. All right, this is the one that kills people every time on the test. This is the one that kills people. I know it says odd, and I know these are not odd numbers. I know that, but that's just the way it works. So even if it says odd, it's the same list. And I know these are not odd numbers, but that's just the way it works. Because give me, somebody pick an odd number. 7. What's the next odd number? 9. How do you go from 7 to 9? You plus 2. So even for odd, you've got to add 2. To get from even to odd, you're going to add 2 for either one. Okay? All right. Number 1, the product of two consecutive negative integers is 56. Find both integers. All right. So please circle 2 consecutive. Please circle that. 2 consecutive. Is negative on our chart that we just made? No. So we don't need to worry about it, at least right now. We don't need to worry about the negative at all. 2 consecutive. How do we write that? X and x plus 1. So that's what we write first. X and x plus 1. All right, here's what's different about today. We have the word product. Earlier in the year, we had the word sum. What does sum mean to do? Add. What does product mean to do? Multiply. Please write that down. I'm not going to make you do it for everyone, but you do need to do it for this first one. You need to write multiply beside the word product. Write the word multiply. Okay, so I need to multiply x and x plus 1. I need to multiply those because it said product. And then what do we do for is 56? Equals 56. Okay. All right, let's go ahead and work this problem. X times x is, and x times 1 is 1x. Let's go ahead and combine a step so we don't have to write as much. What do we know we're going to have to do with the 56? Move it and make it negative. So we'll just go ahead and do that. So that's my problem. How many parts does that have? 3. So what do I do next? Kick out the negative 56. Okay. All right, what multiplies to give me negative 56? All right, 8 and negative 7. This is where it's really helpful to know those multiplication tables. 8 and negative 7. What happens when you add 8 and negative 7? You get positive 1. Is that what I want? Okay. So x plus 8, x minus 7. And guys, this is what I need to see on your homework. I've taken off points to those of you who are just scribbling down some stuff. You need to do it methodically. All right, so you get x plus 8 and x minus 7. What do we do last? So we get x equals negative 8 and x equals 7. Okay, remember how yesterday we were doing length and width? Remember that from yesterday? We were doing length and width. Length and width has to be positive, right? Like if I measured this room, the answer would be a positive amount. These are not real life problems. These are just math problems, okay? All right, you're never in your life going to go out and someone's going to ask you to find consecutive integers. I'm sorry, they're not. All right, but it's going to be on the exam, so we got to learn it. For this one, you have to go back and read the problem and see what they want. Do they want the negative answer or do they want the positive answer? They want the negative answer. Look up here, please. All right, they want the negative answer. So you're going to cross out x equals 7, and your answer is the negative one. Pick your head up. All right, so x equals negative 8. See where it says find both integers? So look, I'm going to come up here and put x equals negative 8. What is negative 8 plus 1? Negative 7. So those are the two answers. X equals negative 8 and x plus 7. I'm sorry, x plus 1 is negative 7. So those are both the integers. Okay. All right, any questions on that first one? All right. What? All right, well, let's do another one, and we'll find what step is getting you, okay? Chase, what should I circle on this first one? I mean, on number 2. Okay, 2 consecutive, and then the word odd. That's what's important. 2 consecutive, and the word odd needs to be circled. Zach, how do you do 2 consecutive odd? Good. X and x plus 2. You look back at your chart. Okay. All right, Stephen, what does product mean? Stephen R. Good. It means to multiply. So we're going to do x times x plus 2. Jeremy, what do we do with the is 99? What does is mean? Equals 99. Okay. All right, Jack, what do you get when you multiply those right there? Right here. Good. All right, LeVar, are you good so far? Okay. Stephen A., what are we going to have to do with that 99? Very good. It's got 3 parts, so we kick out the negative 99. Okay. All right, Riley M., what multiplies to give you negative 99? Very good. And that does add to give me 2. All right, Madison, what would I write next? Good. All right, LeVar, what about that? Are we good there? Okay. All right, LeVar, what would we do next? Good, so x equals what? And x equals 9. Good, okay. All right, check here. We have to go back and read the problem to see which one it wants. Does it want the positive one or the negative one? This one wants the positive. Does everybody see that? It wants the positive, so I'm going to mark out that one. So I'm going to go back up here. It keeps it all kind of neat. X is 9. And what is 9 plus 2? 11. And then this one says find the what? Which one's the largest, 9 or 11? 11. So if this was on the exam, they would have a little box for you to write your answer in, and you couldn't write 9. You would have to write 11. Okay? Because it says find the largest. All right? LeVar, question? You good now? Okay, good. Number 3. Can't read that. Number 3, the product of 2 consecutive negative odd integers is 35. Find the smallest. Brandon, what should I circle? What else? Odd. 2 consecutive odd. Riley K., what do I write for that? Right, I'm going to go ahead and give you a couple minutes to work this one out, and then I'll put the answer up here on the board. So take a couple minutes and try this one on your own. Okay, if you're not done, that's okay. I'm just going to go ahead and do it. So product means that you have to multiply them, and it is 35, so equals 35. So you get x squared plus 2x, and I'll minus 35. Kick it out. You want positive 7 and negative 5. So x plus 7, x minus 5. How many people made it to this step correctly? X plus 7, x minus 5. Good. Set them equal to 0. And on this one, you wanted the negative. You wanted the negative. So you cross that one out. So x is negative 7 and x is negative 5. And what did it say to find? The smallest, which is negative 7 is the smallest. Yep. So negative 7 is actually smaller than negative 5.
Is that like last step? Like, how did you convert the positive 5 to negative 5?
Okay, so I didn't. It's just a coincidence on this one. So this answer has nothing to do with it because it wants the answer to be negative, okay? So I cross this one out. So x is negative 7. Well, I need 2 consecutive negative numbers. So if you were making a number line, what would be the next number that's odd and negative? Negative 5. So that's just a coincidence that we had also got positive 5. Okay? Other questions? Okay. All right, number 4, find the smallest of 2 consecutive even integers if the square of the smaller is 10 more than the larger. All right, so these are big boy, big girl problems, all right? So let's go ahead and start on it. What's something I should circle first? 2 consecutive even. All right, so let's write that down. X and what for 2 consecutive even? And x plus 2. Okay? Okay, here we go. It says, find the smallest of 2 consecutive even integers. So that hasn't really told me what to do yet. If the square of the smaller is 10 more than the larger. So here, right here, is where it starts telling me what to do. The square of the smaller. Which one of these is the smaller one? X or x plus 2? X. Anybody know how you write the square of x? X squared. Okay? So that's what we write first. X squared. The square of the smaller is x squared. Then I see the word is. So I got to stop and do something about that. That's so important. What do I do when I see the word is? Equals. I have to put it to equals. 10 more than the larger. So I'll put a 10. What do you think I'll put for more than? Plus. And which one of these is the larger? X or x plus 2? Okay, before I even begin to work this one out, what's something I can put together to make my life easier? 10 and 2. What's 10 plus 2? So this is going to be x plus 12 over there. It's going to be x plus 12. All right, remember I got to move everything to the left. To the left, to the left. I got to move it all to the left. So what does x become when you move it? Negative. So I drop down the x squared, move the x over, make it negative, and move the 12 and make it negative. So x squared minus x minus 12. All right, Elijah, what am I going to do from there? What? How many parts do I have? Take out the negative 12. All right, Elijah, what multiplies to give you negative 12? What does that add to give you? 4. What do I want it to give me? What else gives me negative 12? And that will give me negative 1. All right, so x minus 4, x plus 3, and I set them equal to 0, so x is 4, x is negative 3. Faith, which one do I want? Oh, okay, here, this one. Does this one say positive or negative? No, but it does say from the very beginning that they have to be even. Which one of these is not even? Negative 3 is not even. So that's how you choose that one. So x equals 4. And then 4 plus 2 is 6. And Samaria, what does it say to find? So which one's the smallest? 4. So that's your answer. X equals 4. Okay. All right, number 5. Find the largest of two consecutive positive integers if the square of the smaller is 5 more than the larger. Stephen, what should I circle? Stephen R., what should I circle? So I need two consecutive. LeVar, does it say even or odd? Okay, so what do I write for two consecutive if it doesn't say even or odd? Look at your chart. X and x plus 1. So that's what I do first. X and x plus 1. Okay. It starts right here telling you what to do. Faith, it says the square of the smaller. How do I write that? X squared. Samaria, what's the next thing that's important? What about before that? What about before the 5? What word's before the 5? Is. What do I do for is? Equals. Brandon, how do I do 5 more than the larger? Good. All right, Stephen A., what would I do next? So that would be x plus what? 6. Good. Madison, what next? Which 2? So I move them to the left, which makes them negative. Chase, what would I do next? Riley K, what multiplies give you negative 6? So x minus 3, x plus 2. All right, Jack, what am I going to do next? Good. Zach, which one do I want? Why? Because this one says positive. Good. So I want the 3. So x equals 3 and x plus 1 is 4. Jeremy, what does it say to find? Find the what? Which one's the largest, 3 or 4? 4. So that would be your answer on that one. Okay. Questions? All right, number 6. Find the largest of two consecutive negative odd integers if the square of the larger is 7 more than twice the smaller. Riley M., what do I circle first? What else should I circle that's important in the beginning? In the odd. Even and odd is really important in the beginning. Shakira, how do I write 2 odd? Good. All right, this problem is going to be so awesome. Y'all are going to love it. Get ready. All right, this one says the square of the larger. Which one's larger? X plus 2. So watch, watch, watch. You've got to write x plus 2 squared is what you have to write first. x plus 2 squared, because you're squaring the larger. All right, then what do I see next? So I have to put equals. What comes next? 7 more than, what do I do for more than? Twice the smaller. What does twice mean? 2x. Twice means to times it by 2. So 7 plus 2x. All right, here's why you're going to love this problem. X plus 2 squared. What does it mean when there's a square on the outside of parentheses? We'll write it twice. X plus 2 equals 7 plus 2x. You got to write it twice. Oh, what do you have to do after you write it twice? What?
No, he being retarded.
Hey, don't say that.
Never mind. I'll tell you later.
All right. All right. What do you do with x plus 2 and x plus 2 after you write it twice? How do you multiply it? Lobster claw, thank you. Okay, so x times x is x squared. X times 2 is 2x. 2 times x is 2x. And 2 times 2 is 4. I know. Aren't you loving this? Okay, so somebody tell me something I could do next. All right, you could put these two together. So x squared plus 4x plus 4 equals 7 plus 2x. Well, we will in a minute, but we got to be careful with it. All right, what has to move? The 7 and the 2x. You got to move it to the left. So we got to move the 7 over, and it becomes negative 7. What can I put it with? The 4. So I'm going to put negative 7 right there. What else moves? And it becomes what? Negative 2x. And you can put it with the 4x. Okay. So here is my new problem. The x squared drops down. What's 4x minus 2x? 2x. And what's 4 minus 7? Negative 3. All right. Chase, what would you do next? All right, Elijah, what multiplies to give me negative 3? Good. So x plus 3, x minus 1. And Stephen A., what do I do next? So x will be what? Good. And Stephen A., which one do I want? Go back and read. Very good. All right. So I got negative 3 and negative 1. And Hallie, what does it say to do on this one? Ooh, this is a hateful problem. Which one's the largest, negative 3 or negative 1? Negative 1. Yeah. Negative 1 is the largest. Oh, that was fun. Should I play the snowman again? No. Oh. Okay. Number 7, find the 3 consecutive positive integers such that 2 times the sum of all 3 of them is 3 times the product of the smaller 2. Okay, so Mary, just help me start it. How do I start it? Because it said 3 consecutive and it didn't say even or odd. All right, Shakira, where does it actually start telling me what to do mathematically? Good, very good, right there. 2 times, so I'm going to put 2 and a parentheses for times. I'm going to put 2 and a parentheses for times. LeVar, what does sum of all three mean to do with them? What's sum mean? Add. I'm going to do that right here just so I don't have so much messy stuff going on. I'm just going to go ahead and add those because we can do that quick and easy. What do you get when you add those? 3x plus 3. That's what's going to go in parentheses. 3x plus 3. That's the sum of all three. All right, Zach, what do you see next after the sum of all three? Very good. Is means equals. Good. All right, then I see 3 times, so I'm going to put 3 in a parentheses. Riley M., what does it mean by the product of the smaller two? Which two are the smaller two? Good. All right, I'm going to go ahead and multiply these two and skip that step. What happens when you multiply these? What do you get? Very good. X squared plus 1x. All right. Jack, help me right here. What would you do next right there? Right here. So 6x plus 6. And Madison, what would you get on the other side? Okay, and this is a problem where my little rule is going to not work. Where is the x squared? On the left or the right? Okay, so you always want to move stuff to the x squared because you don't want that one to be negative. If that one's negative, well, hold on. Let me see if it'll work, and that way I don't have to mess y'all up with your rule. Let me see something real quick, okay? All right, so we'll keep moving everything to the left. That way we can be very consistent with our stuff. All right, so what needs to move? All right, 3x squared becomes negative 3x squared. There's nothing to put with it. What else moves? 3x, and it becomes negative. Can I put it with anything? The what? So what is 6x minus 3x? Plus 6. Okay. All right, what do you notice about this one? Yep, what else do you notice? GCF, what's the GCF? Do I divide by positive 3 or negative 3? Negative, because there's a negative out front. Okay, so I get x squared minus x minus 2. Brandon, what do you do next? Faith, what multiplies to give you negative 2? So x minus 2 and x plus 1. And set them equal to 0, so x equals 2 and x equals negative 1. Elijah, which one do I want? Why? What does it say up there? Positive, good. So x equals 2, x equals 3, x equals 4. What does it say to find? What does it say to find? The 3, so it wants all of them. 2, 3, and 4. Okay, this next one. Number 8, find 3 consecutive positive integers such that 4 times the sum of all 3 is 2 times the product of the larger 2. Those of you doing number 8 with me, help me start this one. What would I write first? Uh-huh. Okay. Keep helping me with this one. Why are we putting them all together? What word tells you that? All right. So 4 times, I'm going to put 4 in a parentheses. What would the sum of all 3 give you? All right. So I'd put a 3x plus 3 there. Okay. All right. What do you see next? Equals. All right. Then what do I put? 2 parentheses. All right, here's where we can't do this one in our head. We're going to have to write it out. What does product mean? We're multiplying the larger 2. What are the larger 2? So you have to write it like that. Okay, let's do this right here. Tell me about this right here. All right, over here, the 2 only goes with this first parenthesis. The 2 only goes with this first set. So what is that going to give you? And then this other one drops down for now. This other one drops down. The 2 only goes with that first parenthesis. All right, where from there? Yep, lobster claw, good. So 2x times x. Then what? Uh-huh. All right, what from there? Okay, let's move everything to the left. You can do it that way too, Zach. That's fine, but I'm gonna be consistent so I don't confuse people. But yes, your way would work. So I'm gonna move everything to the left. What happens when you move 2x squared over here? Negative 2x squared. Before you move these, what is that? That's 6x. And when I move 6x, it becomes negative 6x. So what's 12 minus 6? Okay. What else happens? So it gives you, okay. Good. What do I divide by? So x squared minus 3x minus 4. All right, help me out. All right, what multiplies to give you negative 4? All right, then what? All right, and which one do I want? Why do I want the 4? Oh, it says positive. Okay. And this one said find the 3. So we got 4, 5, 6. All right, good job, guys. All right, the Oyo's at the bottom.